Today we're going to work on revising some of our fairy tales. The revising that we're going to do today is using sticky notes. As you know, revising means making changes, corrections, things like that to our text as we're working on it, because even though we've drafted it, doesn't mean it's our final project. So today, as we're getting closer to wrapping up our fairy tales project, we're going to talk about how we can use sticky notes to make revisions to our writing. Even though we've drafted, there may be some changes to make. Is there something that needs changed in your fairy tale? What about rearranged? Maybe we should switch the order of some things that happened. Whenever we write things down in our draft, sometimes we forget that, maybe something should have happened before that or after. Maybe we should change around the order or the sequence of events in our fairy tale. What about taking out? Maybe there's some things that we need to remove altogether. I know that sometimes I don't always have a perfect first draft. Actually, there's never a time whenever I've had a perfect draft. So I might need to take some things out. Maybe I said something more than one time whenever I should have only stated it once. So there's a ton of changes that we can make to our fairy tales. And sometimes maybe we don't want to mark up or cut up our draft. Using sticky notes can help us to avoid that. Sticky notes can be used to add things you forgot, to rearrange parts of the text, or to mark areas that you simply want to take out. Like I said, if you don't want to destroy that draft, maybe we could use sticky notes to show areas that need changed for our next draft for the next time we type or write what we have down. And also, sticky notes aren't permanent. Say you decide you want to change the order up, but then you don't like the order you put it in that time. You can use the sticky notes to change it as many times as you need to until you get that perfect draft. Let's put it into action. There are multiple copies of the fairy tale that I have written around the room. I want you to get up and put a sticky note on an area that you feel needs changed on one of the drafts. I'm going to give you a minute, maybe a little bit longer, to get up, go around the room, and put sticky notes on the parts of the fairy tale that I have hanging. Remember, my fairy tale was about Princess May and the town that grew jewels and gold on plants. Remember what happened in our fairy tale? Princess May's jewels disappeared, and then her parents ended up surprising her with a crown. Maybe there was something about my fairy tale that you didn't really like. So, I'm going to give you the next minute to get up, use a sticky note, and note what you think needs changed on one of the fairy tales. You may begin. About 30 more seconds. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up and meet back together. I'm sure that your ideas were wonderful, and I'm going to look over the things that you had noted for me to change, and then we'll talk about that at a different time. During this time now, we're about to split up and go back to our desks and work on writing. As you write today, I want you to use sticky notes to make changes or additions to your fairy tales. Then we'll look back over them and make sure that we have them just the way we want them before we make our final draft. So remember, if there's anything that you like, dislike, want to add, take out, change around, now's going to be the time to do that. I have sticky notes around the room, and you know that you can use as many as you need to make these changes or revisions to your fairy tale. I'm going to give you the next little bit of class time to write away.